Hey there, YouTube. Welcome to my review of the first generation Honda Ridgeline. And before I get into that, let me thank everyone for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. The t-shirt winners have been chosen, and I want to thank Johannes Wabnitz and Young You for subscribing and getting me to 1,000 subscribers. We're going to do something a little different today. You win your t-shirts just like this. And thanks for replying back to my emails. Okay, so something a little different. We're going to do a car today, or a truck or a car. I don't know how you want to look at it. Some people look at this as an SUV. Some people look at it as a truck. For me, it has been a perfect truck for what I do, which is hauling dirt bikes, hauling motorcycles, an ATV, going snowboarding. This has been a great truck for that. If you're doing real truck things, it's not a truck. Okay, this is a glorified Pathfinder, or Pilot, on a Pilot, with a pickup truck bed. And it has a very, let's just go with polarizing style. Very different. I mean, it was a little bit, the Chevy put out the Avalanche, which has some really cool quirks and features, as Doug DeMuro would say. But this car is right there with it. As you can see, it is a unibody. It's all one body. There is no separation between the pickup bed. It has these weird buttresses that go down and create one big flowing body. It is on independent rear suspension, front and rear, and this is basically on a Honda Odyssey, Honda Pilot chassis. And with that, there are pros and there are cons. And I'm going to preface this with, I bought this thing as a third car, just to basically haul dirt bikes, haul ATVs, go snowboarding on the weekends. And I liked it so much, I sold my 2017 Jeep Wrangler and bought a 2021 Honda Ridgeline, so I could save this for my son. He has got his driver's license 2 days ago. This is now his car. This is his daily driver. So certain things you want to look out for with a Honda Ridgeline, I'll go into that. I'll go into a little bit about what the trim levels are, where you go from each one, and I'll talk about reliability and maintenance. Now, when I first bought this, I go, Honda, I need a four-door car. I want something with a pickup bed. I need to be able to haul people. I need to be able to haul dirt bikes. And I go, what's the most reliable thing in the world? It's a Honda. I will tell you, my wife's Honda Accord here has been flawless. I've had 2 repairs and 135,000 miles. A brake caliper and a starter. That's it. Brakes and tires. So I'm like, okay, let's go with a Honda. So I looked. I knew it had the full 4-door. I knew it had everything I needed. But although it's as reliable as a Honda is, there is a lot of maintenance that other trucks do not have. First off, these trucks have a timing belt still. Although my wife's Accord, they went to a chain, which lasts forever. These have a timing belt. So they say every 90,000 miles or 6 or 7 years, you want to do your timing belt. So that's going to, if you pay someone to do that, it's going to be probably close to $1,000, depending on where you live, somewhere between $800 and $1,200. The other maintenance thing that you're going to have, which I had to do on this, is the valves need to be adjusted. It is not a hard job. I did it myself. But it took me 4 hours, and I'll explain a little bit about that in a minute. Then I'll go at the end of this, I'll go into what repairs I've had to put in this car in the past 3 years since I've had it. But let's start with the cool things. Okay, the first thing I'm going to start with is, obviously, it has a pickup bed. Okay? Not a super huge pickup bed, but when Honda designed this, I'm going to open this down like a regular tailgate. Honda's, they were pushing this towards Honda owners who also want a pickup truck. So what do Honda owners have? They have ATVs, they have motorcycles. So as you see, which they unfortunately got rid of in the new one, there's actually a little spot to put tires if you're towing, if you're hauling your dirt bikes. You can't fit 3 across frontwards, it will not fit, although I have fit 3 with one facing backwards. So if you have one here, you have one here, or you put one in the center, so you balance the load. You have tie-down strap points here, here, and then 2 in the front, there, and there. It's a very flat and wide load floor because this is an independent suspension car, so there's no big wheel wells for your rear axle. So you have this really nice low wide floor, and you can carry 2 dirt bikes. Or what Honda did is they said this will hold their biggest ATV. So when they designed this truck, they said this has to hold Honda's biggest ATV. So wherever that is in 2006, that's the biggest quad it would hold, and it fit. The other thing you have is this awesome trunk. which if you tailgate, like we here, we're not even loaded up. You can see it has room for a toolbox underneath, propane, trailer hitches. I have a grill for tailgating, a helmet. I could definitely fit a second helmet in here. So if you're a, dirt bike and ATVer, you're going to go tailgating, this holds all your stuff. Now, people say you can make a cooler out of it. I've never done that. Seems kind of stupid. Plus, how dirty this is. I would never put, anything I would eat into it. But you have that awesome trunk. Now, the other thing this does, you have your regular tailgate. And everyone says, oh, great, you can open it this way. You can open it like the old 70s station wagons. I remember growing up, my friend's parents had a Ford, what was the one that Starsky and Hutch had? Station wagon, and it would open that way, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And everyone's like, oh, look, now you can walk right up, and you can put stuff here. You can open this and get right into everything super easy. What no one ever brings up is how this is now. Newer pickups, they have the tailgates that have like a step in them. Watch this. You have your armrest. You have your step. One-handed. I'm in the back of the truck. Okay? This is your original step-in bed. It works great. So my fat 54-year-old ass has no problem climbing into the back of my truck because I just open this. I have an armrest. I have a step. Standard trailer hitch with connector for even trailer brakes. And there's your bed, okay? Nothing huge, but for a weekend warrior like me, it's perfect. Right, we'll start in the back seat. Hopefully he hasn't left us too much of a mess. Oh, apparently him and his friends went and got McDonald's and peanuts last night. So let's throw out these McDonald's cups. Let's try and do this before he made it too dirty because he's only had his license for 2 days. I figured he hadn't gotten it too dirty. Armrest that goes up, water bottles and peanuts, and then both the seats go like this and they'll fold up. And under there, a toolkit I got him in case he breaks down. It's an extra fuel. There's a power steering pump, which I have to put in probably this afternoon. And as you see, you wind up with a pretty nice low floor. They say you can put a bicycle in here. I couldn't imagine anyone doing it. It would have to be a pretty small bicycle, I think. But you have these seats, they fold up. You can put 5 people, no problem. Put an armrest down, you got a couple drinks. It's a back seat. Front seat. Now, before I go into the front seat, I'm going to go a little bit into your trim levels. Back then, there were 3 trim levels. There was the base model, that was the RT. This one, which is the RTS, was the midline, was like $3,000 more. And then there's the RTL. So, from what I've gathered by looking at these, you can tell an RT very easily when you're driving down the road because it'll have steel wheels, unless someone changed them. Black mirrors, okay? That's how you can tell down the road. It had steel wheels, black mirrors. Powertrain, all that's the same. 3.5 liter, 247 horsepower engine, which moves this thing just fine. It's no rocket, but it moves it just fine. 5-speed automatic transmission. Unfortunately, only an automatic is possible. Silver wheels, and the difference inside, there's not much, okay? Especially because I've already changed stereo. With the RT, you get a 100-watt stereo. With the RTS, you get 160. It's no big deal because you've probably pulled them out or someone's changed them by then. And then with the RTL, you can actually upgrade to get factory nav. You also get, in the RT, it had regular manual controls for the air conditioning. This, you get a dual zone auto where you have right and left, and you could just set it and hit to auto. So you step up to that. The only other difference I can tell in the gauge package, for some reason, here on the RTS and the RTLs, it tells you your outside temperature. It does not tell you that in the RT. Okay, I've been in them. It does not have an outside temperature gauge. Except for that, you get all the same stuff. So it is a double DIN. So easily, you get this little thing. It's like $20. And then you can easily put a double DIN radio in. In my case, I put a reverse camera in after he backed the Ridgeline into the Porsche that you see there. So, but you get a lot of creature comforts in here, especially for the time. A lot of nifty little storage areas. I will start with, you get, under here, unless you got the nav. If you got the factory nav, your radio's right here, your nav is up here, and you use this cute little compartment that you can put some stuff in. In this case, this is where he keeps his cord for his Apple CarPlay on the radio. You have this little one here, which for me only has some feeler gauges left in it after I adjusted the valves, and I'll talk about that in a minute. You get this little thing here, which is full of change. Obviously, you get a glove box like every other car. You get these little cubbies right here to throw crap in. Apparently he left his wallet here. Now this is an all-wheel drive car. It's funny, I was talking to a guy at work the other day, and he's talking about how when he thinks he's putting in four-wheel drive when he hits the VTM4 lock. He thinks he was only a front-wheel drive car. No, you are an all-wheel drive car. If you are in first or second gear, we start it up. Drive will not work. If you were in first or second, it will let you hit your VTM lock. Okay, and that will automatically lock in four-wheel drive, give you a little bit more traction if you're in slippery circumstances where you don't have to wait for the front wheels to slip before it kicks the back wheels in. And it will turn off at, I think, 19 miles an hour, 20. Anyway, it turns off at like 20 miles an hour. So you're trying to climb a hill, you have a gravel driveway, and it's snowy and icy. I have used it there at my lake house, and it did help a little bit. But realistically, once the front wheels slip, the back wheels kick in, and you're good to go. Check engine light because, it's got 158,000 miles on it. Speedometer that goes to 140. I will tell you from first-hand experience, 113. 113, the limiter kicks in, that's all you get. Temperature and fuel. As far as fuel economy, not great. Not great. I will tell you there are probably full-size trucks that get better gas mileage than this. Around town, 15, 16 miles per gallon. On the highway, I've done 20. I live in New Jersey, so there's some hills here. I'm sure if you lived in like Arizona, you might get a little better. Now, this is the all-wheel drive model, which I think were standard all-wheel drive back then. They did eventually offer a front wheel, but then they got rid of it again because it wasn't a big seller. You have your power outlets, and that's it for this model. Now, if you get the RTL, you will get leather seats, heated seats. You get an optional, if you get the sunroof, which I don't have, you would also get the nav in here, which is all antiquated. So, I would say you're probably going to wind up changing to a double din anyway for modern stuff. And this does not have automatic headlights. You have to turn them on yourself. You got your cruise control. You can turn your stability control off. A light for your cargo, and a light to turn on your interior lights. And that's really all you get in here. But you have this nice center console, 2 cup holders. You can throw stuff here, you can throw stuff here. If you need more room, you can open that up, and you have a lot of room down here. This slides. It's all one compartment, but I mean, you can see how massive that center console is. Lots of tools for him just in case he needs it, some fuses, everything I could think of, extra coil packs after I changed the coils. I left the good ones in here just in case you ever need them. And then a little spot on the floor. This car is really good for tall people. I can turn it off. This is really good for tall people. My buddy who originally bought one of these and made me decide to get it is 6'6", and like 280 pounds. And he said it's like one of the only cars he fit in. So if you're tall, it's a really good car for you. All right, let's get to maintenance and what I've had to do to this thing. All right, it has not been inexpensive for me to own this. Bought this car with 128,000 miles on it. I think I got it exactly at the wrong time for when maintenance items start to become due. I think, I talked to the original owner, although I bought it from someone who flipped the car. I talked to the original owner. He'd only put struts in this thing, and he had done the time belt at 90,000. Except for that, it had been a really good car. But his trans was starting to go, and he got rid of it. Now, he towed a trailer, and he lived on Long Island. So that 128,000 miles, probably a lot of stop and go. And he towed a trailer home with it, which might have been a little heavy for the 5,000-pound capacity on this. So he limped it to a place, the place put in some like, Lucas or whatever, and I got about 5,000 miles on it and the trans went. So that was $2,400 to get the trans done. I didn't do that myself. Everything else I've done. So since that, what have I done? After we did the trans at about 135,000 miles, I was starting to get a really rough idle. So I changed the coils and the plugs. And let me go open the hood for that. Now I have the engine cover off because I broke the clips. Let me put this up. All right, so the front plugs are very easy to get to. 3 coil packs. Plugs are underneath. Very, very easy. Backs are a little hard to get to, but they're back here and it can all be done. And that didn't help my idle problem. What it was the other thing this thing needs. Probably about 120,000 miles, you're going to have to adjust your valves. Now, I also had leaky valve cover gaskets, so to change valves, you got to take this intake off, and then you can take off this valve cover and the back valve cover. And in there, it's a shim over bucket. I'm not going to teach you how to adjust valves, but it was relatively easy. But you have to rotate the engine. You need 2 people. Right here, you have a marker for what cylinder you're on. You go to 1. Someone sits here with a little mirror, and they go, okay, we're at 1. And then you adjust the valve. And then they just go to 2, and you adjust valve number 2. And you go that way. So I had to adjust the valves. I've changed the radiator. That started to leak on it. I had to change the CV axle on the driver's side. Believe it or not, I haven't done brakes or rotors. They've actually been fine. Trying to think what else I've done. I think that might be about it. But if you paid someone to do all that, it would really, really add up. That said, it's got 158,000 miles on it now. Oh, and the EGR valve went. The EGR valve was also causing a terrible idle. And with the EGR valve was stuck open, so it was pumping exhaust into the engine at idle, and it wouldn't idle. And it was driving me nuts because I wasn't getting a check engine light. Except for that, other things to watch out for on this car. Rust. This one's pretty good for a Northeast car. Places to start looking. Fuel door, which I'm just starting to get a little bit right there. I'm going to take care of that today. A little down here, you can see the rockers. My suspension, all that, it's all really good, but if you're looking at a Northeast car, look for rust. The frames I've never seen rust, but the rockers will rust out. And when you start getting rust, all your nuts and bolts, all your axles, if you want to do anything, a brake line, it's a disaster. So look for rust. It's really about all I can say. Oh, and headliners. When I looked at these, everybody's headliner had sagged. I just kind of ghettoed it with staples. You could do it right, but the headliners all seem to sag. That's about all I have. Any comments? Anyone wants to put your Ridgeline stories? Who's this for? This is for probably 90% of people who drive trucks, okay? There is no machismo with this. It is just an SUV that rides better than a regular pickup truck, that has everything you need it to do. Like I've gotten, a yard of mulch put in the back. Now all the guys at the yard are laughing at me, like, we want to put a yard of mulch in that thing, but it takes it. I do my mulching, and it has just been such a good car, and it rides so well that I bought another one. All right, YouTube, thanks. I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. I think at 1,500 subscribers, we'll give away 2 more t-shirts. Thanks. Bye.